The fireside, a place which has for generations been one thing, a place to gather and to tell stories, a place to remind ourselves of what it means to be human. We tell stories. A hearth is for telling stories, for nurturing. As the winter sweeps through our land and our bones, as the cold gathers and as our breath turns to mist before us, join us tonight. Join us in this oldest of human traditions, a fireside gathering. Actors and writers from all over Ireland and beyond came together to challenge themselves in a time when the performing arts are suffering the same fate we all are. Isolation, loneliness, darkness. But we wanted to dispel the darkness just for a few hours and bring you joy. Bring you along with us on our adventures. Writers volunteered their skills and created unique monologues, which were then chosen by and assigned to actors who were challenged to create an artistic performance with just a short text and minimal direction. Here you will get to see raw talent, shot on phones, shot in homes, shot and perfected with any equipment that was available. Join us now as we gather around the fireside, like our ancestors before us.
Do you know the clock tower, do you? Well, hang your balls off it then! And he did! Christmas Eve 1987. The Pet Shop Boys had just beaten the Pogues and Kirsty to the Christmas #1 with that god-awful version of Always on Me Mind. I should have been long since home helping Brenda set up Louise's Sylvanian family set, but sure, you'd always stay for one more. And fuck it, it was Christmas with the MB crowd. Dixie Flynn was cracked. We fell out of Jordan's and onto the quay, and out of nowhere, Packy Nolan produced his ladder and up Dixie went. I thought he was going to break his neck, and when he got up, he whipped out these two massive plastic baubles as big as footballs and hung them off the steeple. Happy Christmas, Waterford! Hang your balls off the clock tower! We stagger back to John's Park, covered in tinsel and reeking of whiskey. The corporation took the baubles down 2 weeks later. It'll be a different Christmas this year. But every Christmas Eve, coming out of midnight mass in the cathedral, I always look over and I can see Dixie's face, red raw with drink atop the clock tower. The gas man altogether. God rest him.
I have already told you so many times. Fine. Inside the club, he was harassing Gemma. He kept putting his arms around her waist, and I asked him to stop, to just leave her alone. I think it's important. It is important because it explains what happened outside. So we got our coats and we went out. We didn't put them on because it was this hot summer's night. And he followed us. He followed Gemma. And he tried again. And I spoke to him again. Yes, I know you have that on CCTV. That's what I'm doing there, is speaking to him again. And he raised his fist. And he was going to hit me and hit her. And I was afraid. I had to act fast, and I threw a punch before I could even think about it. The size of him, I never thought he'd... I've never hit somebody before in my entire life. His head hit the concrete and my stomach just turned. And I had to get out of there. So I took Gemma. No, she didn't come, she stayed. It was just one punch, that's all it was. It was self-defense. It was just one punch.
Evening, lads. Lady. Do you want me to start my report? Right. He was a fucking scumbag. How is it justice that one fella can hold an entire community to ransom? We pick him up. It doesn't matter that we never actually picked him up. The judge would have just let him out to do it all again. That place is full of good, genuine, hard-working people. Salt of the earth. Like my dad was. Like your ma was. People like them. Having to deal with pricks like him. While we sit back and do nothing. Justice. Going up and down at all hours of the morning on his poxy scrambler that he got for Christmas. Of his shrug pushing ma. I don't give a fuck if he's 11 years old. He could be 100 years old. And I still would have done what I did. He won't be in a hurry to hop on that bike again, let me tell you. Justice.
Starlight Defenders 2 is the best video game in the world of all time ever. It's an absolute masterpiece. Miyamoto Kashiwazaki, have you heard of him? Seen his posters on my wall? Huh? He said this is his magnum opus. You can customize your characters down to the fingernails and genitals, but I'm not really interested in that. The story is meant to be amazing. It's really immersive. And their character can live forever. Think of the possibilities. Yeah, I know he's dead. Sorry, he has passed away. Do I really have to go? Really? I don't think he would mind. He would want me to play this. He loves Starlight Defenders as much as I do. He is my player too. There is 125 gigabytes left to download if we turn off everything that is using the Wi-Fi. Really. I've been waiting years for this. And it's going to be dead forever. He's really bad, isn't he? And he's not coming back. He was just online a few days ago.
It's not dying that I'm afraid of. It's gonna happen. What I'm gonna miss is what I'm afraid of. It's now, just being here with you. I feel comfortable being myself. I feel I don't have to hide or be afraid of being vulnerable. I can just be completely me. And I love that feeling when I'm with you, and I just don't want to lose it. I mean, you hear me, you listen to me, what I have to say, and you don't even have to say anything. You get it, you understand, and not everyone listens. I mean, they tell you what you should do, what you should say, what you should want, but they don't care about me or what I want. You do. You taught me that people can be good, that they're worth trusting. You're the reason that I don't want to die. It could just be nothing. Just forget everything. You won't feel anymore. You won't be happy, sad, angry, passionate, confused, curious. You'll just cease to exist, I guess. I mean, why does it have to end? My whole life, all I wanted was just a place to call home. And to me, you were home. You were the place that I wanted to be. And now you're gone. And I don't know what to do with that. Because it's not fair. It's not fucking fair. I mean, why you? Why did it have to be you? Why couldn't it have been someone from Waste of Space, some fuckhead who just lies, cheats, steals, goes out of his way to hurt other people? Why you? What am I supposed to do? Just move on? I don't want to move on. Why should I move on? I shouldn't have to. I want you to tell me that it's not nothing, that there's something, there's anything. I just want you to take me home.
You know that deep down feeling that tells you you're wrong? Not that you're wrong about something, but that you are wrong. I can't cure that, but I tell you I can, and you lap it up like a dog because I'm charismatic, welcoming, inquisitive. I ask you things you wish people would ask you. And then I tell you all about your problems, and in all honesty, I make them all up. They're not problems. You only think they are because you think you're a problem. Just to be clear, it's me and only me that has the answers to these problems, and you will follow me to the ends of the earth to solve them for you. For you. To solve you for you. Such a marvelous gift. Thank you. I'll let you in on a little secret. There's no answer to the problems I produce. Just see how that works. I inspire you to believe in something, me for example, but I never inspire you to believe in the one thing you should. I am your cult leader, and I didn't even choose this for myself, you did. Oh, you can find me all over the world, anywhere there's authority, and I mean anywhere and everywhere. Don't believe me? Doesn't matter, you're wrong. Remember that. And let me help you for you.
Well, that was nice, wasn't it? It's good to know that Dad got to spread his seed. And all the way overseas too. Come to think of it, that little one has the same massive ears as Jamie, doesn't he? How nice. I'm literally running through every important occasion in my head when he had to work instead of being there for us. You say you were trying to protect us, but what about you? Jesus Christ. I would have gone with you if you'd have just told me. We would have been okay. Now he's lying in there, getting away with it all. It's like he's smiling there to himself. Look at him. He's fucking smug. I don't know where you get your strength from. You are either incredibly strong or incredibly stupid. I'm sorry, Mum. I think I'm gonna get sick. If he wasn't this close to death, I'd kill him myself.
Listen, if we were supposed to stay in our comfort zones, we'd all still be in the womb. But since we're having this conversation on dry land, I think it's safe to say that's not the way of the world. Whether we do it ourselves or somebody gives us a nudge, eventually we all have to push through. It'll be new. It'll be weird. It'll be loud. It will be frightening. But very soon, it will just be. You'll be part of this whole new way of being, as if you've always been there. In fact, you might not even remember how it ever could have been before. But you need to remember. Because the day's gonna come where all this place is gonna feel comfortable. And you need to know that next time that comes around, it's always better to push.
When will all this be over? So we can just grab a stranger in the street and hug them. A big hug. A strong one. The kind of hug that changes your life. Like the one I got on my way to work. I got off the loose, headphones on, drowning in my own head. I saw this group of lunatics outside Stephen's Green. Big happy smiles, waving signs, singing songs. Some of them dancing. At 7 o'clock in the morning, and she was on top of me before I had time to see the sign, big hugs. A stranger. A big lady. Not big physically, but big spiritually. You're lucky if you know the type. All I could see was her hair. All I could smell was her. All I could feel was warm. She squeezed me and she squeezed me. That morning I was trying to figure out what the best way to kill myself was. She squeezed that thought right out of me. So yeah, I miss hugs.
Okay, I understand it has got out of hand. But there are worse things I could be at, aren't there? I mean, I could be shooting heroin into my eyeballs or stealing. I'm doing the opposite. I'm contributing to the economy. At a worry level, I know. But But you see, to me, it's not that I like the stuff. I mean, I do like the stuff. It's more what the stuff represents. You know, take this necklace, for example. It's nice, right? Wrong. It's beautiful. It's the most goddamn beautiful artifact that I've ever seen. And the woman that made this crafted it with her own earthly hands. She thinks it's beautiful too. So me buying this necklace is telling this woman that I see the same beauty in the world that she sees by what she puts out there. How is that a bad thing? How is that not worth the price? I'm Sophia, and I am not ready to say that I am a shopaholic. I'm a conscientious, law-abiding citizen who is doing her best to help her fellow man and is 50,000 euros in debt because of it. Who's next? Jim, you're new too, right? Oh my God, I love your jacket. Where did you get that? It's sorry.
Now, quiet. We don't have all night. I wanted to say a few words on tonight's occasion. We are all blessed to be here, but especially me. I'm especially blessed because Priya has finally agreed to marry me. My wonderful Priya. After 3 years, after 3 proposals, I finally broke her down enough to say yes. The proposal in Dubai wasn't good enough. The proposal in New York still was not good enough. But the proposal in her backwards little village in the desert somehow magically worked. But never mind. You know what they say. You can take the girl out of the desert, but you can't, you know. Let's just hope the desert is the only thing that's dry when we get married. Oh yes, a bit of bad news for all of you. Sorry in advance. For the wedding, we're going to have to go to an old ruin somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Apparently. I know. I wanted the Ritz or the Maldives, but you know our country girl over here. So you all have a trip to Rajasthan ahead of you. My sincere apologies. The blushing bride. Isn't it nice that even after so much emancipation, Indian women still know how to blush? I love you.
I've told you already, many times. Fine. Inside the club, he was harassing Gemma, putting his arm around her waist, so I told him to... I asked him to stop.
to leave her alone. I think it's important. It is important because it justifies it explains what happened outside. Yeah, we got our coats and went out. Didn't put them on because it was a hot summer's evening. And he followed us out. He followed Gemma and he tried again. So I spoke to him again. Yeah, I know you have it on CCTV. That's what I was doing there. Speaking to him. And then he raised his fist. He was going to hit me. To hear her. I was afraid. That was one punch. It was out before I even thought about it. With the size of him. I didn't think that. I've never hit anyone before in my life. His head hit the concrete and it just turned my stomach. I wanted to get out of there, so I took Jem and no, she didn't come with me. She stayed. It was one punch. Self-defense, that's all it was. One punch.
Listen, if we were to stay in our comfort zones, we'd all still be in the womb. And since we're having this conversation on dry land, I think it's safe to say that that's just not the way of the world. Whether we do it ourselves or someone gives us a nudge, eventually we have to push through. And it'll be new and weird and loud and frightening. And very soon it'll just be. You'll be a part of a new way of being, as if you've always been there. In fact, you may not even remember how it ever could have been before. But you have to remember, because the day is going to come around that this place is going to feel comfortable, and you need to know, the next time it comes round, it's always better to push.
Look, I don't know what to do at times. I just know that I have to be there for him. I get up in the morning and he goes back to bed. caught him one night crying out the back. He was sitting on a child's chair, barely taking his weight, and I was gonna laugh at the choice of chair until I heard him mumbling to himself. He's actually a really funny man, so a strange sight indeed. Everything's just so bloody hard lately. With his back to me, he spoke softly against the wind that was whistling like it was about to break into a song. Just a touch of sadness, babe. A smile will shrug it off. Thing is, he hasn't smiled in months. Hugging little Kelly's bedtime teddy he was. I left him out there. He needs this time, but he has to understand that we both lost. We just both deal with it differently. I smile for him. I smile every time his eyes meet mine. Because that's what you do for love. Sometimes you have to carry the weight instead of sharing it. He's going to stop crying one night. And then he'll look at me and smile. And I'll smile back because that's what you do for love.
What's up? Yeah? No, so. And. Are you fucking going at you again? So. Fucking did you hear? Sorry. I said fucking sorry. Don't put the on. Hello? Yeah. So, she's fucking annoying me. Right. I'm working, yeah. I'm working. Looks like. Yeah. 550 bags. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Donut, chips. Grand. I say grand. Yeah. Right, see ya. Yeah, love you too. Here. Don't bury them in gravy this time. Right. Sup. Sup.
Oh, she keeps smiling at me. She means well, but I'm not well. I'm not in the mood for an armchair psychiatric at the bar who's telling me what grief is and, giving me grief for it. That was nearly a joke, Fuck it, I'm taking that down. It's been a long time since jokes were easy to make. Now it's been a long time since I was easy to be with. And part of me thinks she hates me, but maybe that's because she loves me so much that she refuses to let the darkness in my head win. That kind of love that scares me, because I don't think people should have to love that hard. We're not worthy of it. I stared at a train incoming into the station today. I wasn't even going anywhere. I just walked 2 steps past the yellow line, and then this granny calls out from the abyss and asks me to help her with her shopping, her bags. The platform was empty a minute ago, but she's an angel. An angel with pink permed hair and a big green coat, as green as the hills of Tara. So yeah, I'm going to start smiling more. Let somebody else rest their weary head. I'll even practice smiling at my wife. She deserves that from me. Return the favor. I do hope I meet that granny again.
People write songs about girls like you. Usually not very successfully, but still. The songs are okay. Sometimes more than okay. Sometimes great. But they never quite capture it, do they? Whatever it is. A glance from the corner of your eye. The way your hair falls across your face. The way you smile. The way you make me smile. Oh, how I want to kiss that spot at the base of your neck. And how I want to feel your tongue touch mine. I just wanted to be with you. Be beside you. There was song, and there was wine. And then the morning came, and the sun shined for the first time in weeks. And your body was white and warm. And called me in. No, they never quite capture it. Because I suppose if they did, well, there'd be no need to write any other songs, would there?
The blue windows. That's because of the gores. The gores, those bushes over there. The yellow bushes. They're not blooming now, but in spring, the whole coastline is completely yellow, and they smell of coconut. And they cause horrible fires, and they're a terrible shrub that everybody hates. And I love it. Blue windows and gores go together. When I first came here, I thought I would build my sanctuary. The whole house was overgrown. It was hopeless. Half of it burned down. A gore's fire took it. Gorse was growing all in through the windows. I couldn't do anything other than roll up my sleeves and get stuck in. And my arms and feet and everything were completely ripped up by that stupid gorse. And then I found a tiny teacup. It must have been left here by the previous owners. I found it under a gorse bush. It was blue. And I sat down and I cried like a little baby because it was so beautiful. And that's when I realized that the blue and the yellow were perfect for each other. And that's why my windows are blue. Blue windows and gores.
Maybe we'll have our own reality show one day, me and him. I'd so love that. The cameras following our every move, watching us. You guys wanting to know what's gonna happen next. And me like giving you guys tips on makeup, fashion, relationships, doing up the bedroom, cleaning the gaff, looking after the pets. Me and him would be so good at that. We just so would. And you guys would tune in your thousands. We could be the next Kardashians, except the Sweeney's doesn't have the same ring to it. Does it? We're gonna name the kids with the letter S. Simon, Summer, Shri, because that matches in so nicely. Except I've always loved the name Fifi, but that's an F. Well, we could change your names because I so love the names Flair, Finley, Fifi. We could change your names to something beginning with F and make it sound foreign and exotic, because that's what sells. Anyway, it depends on how many kids we want, whether we want boys or girls with blue or brown eyes. Mixed race babies are so in right now and they're so cute. Whether we want twins or just single babies. Anyway, we have lots of time to work on the details, right? Babe? Sorry, babe. Sorry, I'm coming. Sorry, I'm finished.
Do you visualize? Do you plan your dreams out? Like those Tony Robbins books. Okay, cool. Yeah, I do. I do a lot. Do you get like recurring dreams when you're doing the visualization exercises? Like I'm doing the power pose. Strength, right? Then I relax. I close my eyes and I walk around my ideal house. You know, like we're supposed to vividly imagine. I walk into the bathroom. Gold everywhere. Huge ornate mirrors. 6-foot jacuzzi that I'm about to step into. And I smell something. Vividly. I look over. And on the crapper, naked, taking a nasty shit, is the President of the United States. This is my visualization. Like, this is my ideal house. It's supposed to be mine. The books say that I have to see it to believe it. I've got to meditate on it. I just can't get it out of my mind. In my visualization, he sees me. He makes direct eye contact and he stares right through me as if to say, "Nice bathroom. It's mine now." He stands up and he doesn't even wipe. He takes out his hand and I shake it. Why do I shake it? He squeezes my hand with both hands and says, "Call me Donald." Does that ever happen to you?
He just... I used to joke and call it his therapy sessions. It does seem to make him feel better, and he leaves me alone for a while after, so it's complicated. Well, so when we split up, he was very... he didn't want to go. And he was harassing me, following me, making my life and the kids' life difficult. So I started letting him in every once in a while when he got into his moods, because it seemed to calm him down. It seemed to make him think that he still had some sort of claim on me. Like he hasn't lost us completely. And like I said, once he gets to sit on the couch and yell at me for an hour or two, then he leaves us alone for a few weeks, so... small price to pay. I know I should probably not allow that. And it's stupid. And I'm stupid for letting him in. But it works. Really does. And the peace I get is worth it. At least that's what I tell myself. I don't let the kids see it though. They shouldn't see it. You know, I used to think how great it would be if he actually did go to therapy. It makes strides for sure.
I hate that I get tired. I hate that I have to sleep. I wish I could stay up all night and just get shit done. I don't want to go asleep. It's a complete waste of time. Every night, 12 o'clock, I'm wrecked. And do you know what I've achieved? Nothing. I have achieved nothing. And I'm sick of not doing anything. Well, actually, I didn't not do anything. For the first time, cooked me own dinner and put a wash on. A new leaf, eh? Lately, Mammy has been feeling tired and her passion in the kitchen has just dwindled. She used to make this fucking lovely paprika chicken, and on Saturdays she'd make her own version of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now it's fucking eggs, beans and chips every night. I mean, come on, where's the passion in that? She's been slowly deteriorating. And I can see that she's lost interest not only in cooking, but in life. Existing is difficult for her. I don't want to turn out like that. That's why I'm getting serious. Cooking my own dinner, doing my own washing. I'm cleaning myself up. Mammy tasted what I made. It was a pasta dish, roasted cherry tomato sauce, and it was fucking lovely. Gourmet. I could tell as soon as she had tasted it that she got jealous. Started giving me tips on how to make it better. It was the only thing she had. And now I'm taking it away. Destroy the last ounce of motherly duty she has. Anyway, time for bed. I'll think about what I'll have for dinner tomorrow. Might just be eggs, beans and chips.
Am I okay to start now? It was a Thursday when I found out. Well, I knew before that, but I suppose I found out for definite that morning. Anyway, it was just a surreal moment. How many tests have we all taken in our teenage years and they're never positive? Never. Except this one was. I rang a crisis helpline and then I felt stupid. This wasn't a crisis at all. I'm an adult, for God's sake, with a house and a job and a recipe for paella. The woman asked me if I was going to continue with the pregnancy, and I heard myself saying yes. And then I laughed because I hadn't realised I was going to say that, you know? I drove to a Montessori school after work. How creepy is that? I just sat there in the car thinking about what a lovely place this would be to grow up in. What colour I might paint the baby's room. What their favourite ice cream might be. Yeah, I hadn't realised it was so common. What do they say? 1 in 3 pregnancies doesn't make it past the first trimester. Yeah, definitely. I do want children someday.
When I was a child, I used to think my mother had magic hands. When I had a headache, she used to press her hand onto my forehead, and it would just disappear. My mother's voice, she never speaks quietly. Everything she says is loud, command, song. She's quick to love you, and quick to throw you under your ass. And with one look,
She can look straight into your soul. There is no secret, and I swear to the Lord of the Lights, she has eyes in the back of her head. She can read my thoughts, I promise you. She knows everything. She's never wrong. I have never met a woman so resourceful, so wise. She's a firestorm and trenches you in water all the same. She married a man from the army, so she had to stand her ground. The whole village used to come to her for an advice or just for a chat. And then she would become quiet. It was the only time she was ever quiet. When she was listening. She would listen, she would hear what you're saying, and she would hear what you're trying desperately not to say. Then she'd pick on all the million things that you didn't say. Those were the things that mattered.
What scares you? Not that shit that goes bump in the night. What's your greatest fear? That's what they're gonna ask you. If I was a generous person, I'd tell you not to answer that. I'd tell you that as soon as you tell someone that, they know your deepest, most secret hope. And they own you. They do. From the inside out. They know what it is that scars you so much, shrivels your heart into a withered, useless chunk of flesh. Do you know how full of pain hope is? Do you know how useless it is? It's like drinking gallons of salt water, expecting your thirst to disappear. What's my greatest fear? No. I don't fear anymore. I was afraid of the dark. I already told them. It's too late for me. I'd hoped. I hope you never tell them. You're coming. For you.
I blame the schools. I totally and utterly blame the schools. That was the most incompetent, stupid thing ever to do to a kid. I remember them saying, don't do it, just say no. Say no to what? What are they talking about? I thought we had a history class this morning. Who's your man coming in to talk to us? What's he talking about? Oh, drugs. He did a load of drugs. What are they? Well, they give them out at parties and they're really dangerous. Sorry, I just heard the first half of that sentence. They give them out at parties? Where are these parties? Jesus, there seems to be a lot of parties going around. How do you get an invite to one of these parties, you know? Me and my friends like parties. It was Jenny's birthday party last week. We had cake and you're telling me we could have had drugs? Here's a list of all the drugs you have to say no to. Mushrooms. My man loves mushrooms with a dinner. I'm 9 years old and my droning, nasal talking, posh, condescending, uncool teacher is telling me not to do drugs, that she doesn't do drugs, that if I want to grow up to be like her, I won't do them. Of course that's only going to make me want to do them more. Why did they get the most uncoolest person in the world to tell us that she thought drugs were uncool? She should have said just say yes. Then guess what? None of us would have gone fucking near them. Anyway. The party to keep going.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to Fireside Monologues. We're Sam and Anya. We're going to sing a song for you. We're called The Small Old Canary. This song was written by Jimmy McCarthy, and this song is called The Contender.
Beautiful song.
When I was young and I was in my day, I could steal a woman's heart, there was a way. Sing and dance until the morning, blaze away until the dawning. Long before I was man, you'll see today. And I was born beneath the stars, a promised all. I could live my life between Corcov and York, but the wheel of fortune took me from the highest point. It shook me by the bottle I will fall. There is a mirror on the wall. I see the dreams fading from the contender to the broad. The ring, the rose, the matador is raving. When I die, I'll die drunk down on the street. You will count me out from 10 from clear defeat. Wrap the starry plough around me, let the pipers e'er resound me. There I rest until, Lord, of love I'll meet. There I'll rest until, Lord, of love I'll meet. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Hi, we're going to do another song for you. This is one of Sam's original songs, and this is called
Rise Above It All.
Rise Above It All.
You've got to rise above it. You want silence, I want to speak. I want confrontation, baby. You want some peace. The battle lines are drawn, and things ain't going right round here. You say black, I say white. In that mood of your baby, nothing ever will be right. Something tells me, baby, that things ain't going right round here. But eventually we gotta try to do our best to see eye to eye and rise above it all, so things start going right round here. I love you, baby, you're the only one for me. You drive me crazy, but can't you see? Something tells me, baby, that things ain't going right round here. But eventually we gotta try to do our best to see eye to eye and rise above it all, so things start going right round here. gotta try to do our best to see eye to eye and rise above it all, so things start going right round here.
Beautiful.
Cool.
So, thank you very much from myself and Sam.
Yes, enjoy the
Thanks
rest of
again to Luke Cochran.
Enjoy the evening.
Enjoy the rest of the evening. Enjoy the rest of the Fireside Monologues, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Hi, I'm Mary. I'm going to be doing 2 poems for you today. The first one is called See You Later. Call me Oscar Wilde because I'm down in a cell, man, this shit is getting toasty, call it HELL. I spend my days in bed, vision red, feeling dead, something's fucked up in my head, so I leave my friends on red. Going on a walk, can't do shit, nearly gonna snap, bitch, think gonna lose it, I'll get through it, bitches know I'm fucking with the true grip, pull pins, kick chins, moving on to great things, man, you're so confusing, shit'll give you whiplash, spend a week working, bitches know I'm gonna get cash, do the dash, don't go back, already done packed a bag, see you later, or for sure, man. I need a day off, feeling pretty pent up at the table with my friends off. Know they're staying loyal, but in my head they're gonna pack up. Leave me to my own devices, addicts getting lost in vices, things are getting worse, it's a curse, and I know it. Life is like a YouTube ad, I'ma just skip over. So that was the first one. And the second one is called Deadbeat, which I wrote yesterday, so. I haven't written poetry in I think maybe a year. I lost my thoughts, I lost my path, man, this shit ain't getting clear, yeah. Words stuck, pen up, should be clogging down my throat, call my ego non-existent cause I'm feeling like a joke, yeah. Bitches calling up my phone, trying to see if I'm okay, man, there's nothing I can do, I'm just living day to day, yeah. I waste them all in silence with my mom while I'm falling, ignore the pen and paper cause I'm a deadbeat poet. Got a problem with authority, hate doing what I'm told, man, these years getting boring, I ain't never felt so old, body rotten in my mind, pretty bitches in the mug, I was named for the mother, go to hell if I'm bold, but bitches calling me punny because they know I'm staying gold. So, that's me, thanks very much for having me, right, see you so.
I don't know what to say to you. Are you listening to me? Have I not got your attention? How am I supposed to deal with you? It's like you're testing me. My patience. You're 19. I'm not going to let you in to terrorize me in my own home ever. Do you know how long this has been going on? Too long. I am so frustrated. Because of you, I'm afraid to go and see my friends now. Did you know that? I'm working all the hours and I try to help anyone I can, and do you care? No. No, you don't. Do you work? What do you do, Do you understand? I am trying to put all my mental health issues behind me, not have them re-emerge and all exacerbated. I can't go on holidays with you here. With you here, I can't even enjoy a drink because I don't trust you. When are you going to leave me in peace? The local priest has gone to ground these last 3 weeks. Have a guess why? Where's God when you need him? Damn you. Damn you to hell, COVID.
I think they're father and son, but it's hard to tell. Like, normally a father and son would have similar features like a smile or a neckline or something. Necklines? That's a gas one. How do people have similar necklines? I remember once sitting in the back of a car going from Tullamore to Killarney, and I was looking at the back of my friend's head, I was looking at his father's head, and I'm thinking, that's mad. Exactly the same neckline.
We were about 15, going to see David Gray in Fitzgerald Stadium. David Gray, like, thinking we were deadly. His father spent 3 hours driving to Killarney and 3 hours back. Out of fear? I don't know. Fear is pain arising from anticipation of evil. I read that somewhere. Probably Instagram. So he's about 17 and the older fella's about 50. So my theory about father-son is perceivable. Is that right? My theory is perceivable. Sounds right. I try not to Google things anymore, like, unless I really have to, like, for work or something. Took me 3.5 days to think of Viggo Mortensen's name last week. I watched a film with him once. He was raising a family, completely off-grid, no technology or any interference. That's where I've gotten to. Stop Googling. So sweating in a field, digging a hole with his father watching him. Maybe it's a punishment. Like, do you know in the films when a parent catches a child smoking and then they have to smoke all the fags? Maybe he dug a hole somewhere where he shouldn't. And now he's to dig all the holes. That's conceivable. Conceivable? Fuck it. Ignorance is the parent of fear. That's another one. So I call him ignorance and him fear. It's better to give them names. That means it's kind of a structure to this thing. This digging holes.
So, how did a Scottish kid with shit parents end up meeting grand old Master Hodgson? Robert was a kind man. Selfish at times. Stubborn, yes, but kind. When he found out that his maid had gotten herself pregnant, he didn't fire her. He let her bring the kid to work with her. The maid was already there looking after Anthony. What was one more mouth to feed? When she left me behind. Robert took me in. And that's not to say that she came back for me a lot. Visited and stuff. But Robert was my main parental figure from that day forward. Anthony loathed me. He was 7 years older than me. 7 years might as well be a century when you're a child. Like when I was 8 and he was 15. He might as well have been a grown man as far as I was concerned. My life hell for years. Most of the time it didn't matter because he was away at boarding school anyway, but on the few occasions when he did come back, he liked to remind me what my place was. I was the help, after all. So, when he met your mum and they had you, that was when the fear set in. Robert wasn't getting any younger. And you were the heiress to the entire Hodgson fortune, after all. What if I might try to steal a piece of it? When they read out the will, I think you know how that turned out. And it's alright, I don't give a shit about the money. I don't. And I know you don't either. All I do care about, and this is gonna sound crazy, but all I really want is the family that I grew up with. Just to have some connection. In this whole world full of faceless nobodies, to be a part of the lives of the people who know who I am and where I came from. But Tony just can't ever do that. So I suppose it's just a grand old matter that'll never be resolved, eh?
I don't know what you do all day.
But I'm going to be honest, I'm worried about you. You've a lot of anger you need to let go of, and it won't do you any good. And as for the tic you've developed, get rid of it, it's frightening. Did someone teach you it? Those jolts out of your body? Oh, to God you don't do that around other people. You've got to stop it, Kathy. You've told me you can't help it, but I know you can. No man will tolerate that. Look, I thought about it and I've come to the conclusion that, yeah, it is a good decision you made to go and see a therapist. Talk about the tic. Don't leave it on the long finger, though. I don't know. Maybe it's me who has the problem. Maybe this is all my fault. Huh? Like, what happened to you all? There are people with cancer who are more successful than any of us. How come they can get on with it and mine can't? Cop on. It's one thing none of yous have. I know I told you all we'd be rich, but that's changed. Might come as a hard lesson, but it won't do you one bit of harm. Now you'll know what it feels like to really go out into the world and try and make something of yourselves.
Paranormal investigations. What was the name of that show that we used to watch? It was so bad, but it had like 25 series. Hours and hours of nothing happening except the odd knock. And your man, Derek Cora, performing for the camera. I can feel the spirits entering me now. Oh, madness. Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo. You were always dying to be Mario. But you were such a great Luigi. Anyway. You couldn't hack the responsibility of being Mario. You were more of a psychic. God. I miss that. This is your biggest mess yet. You can't talk your way out of this. You can't hide anymore, can you? But if you wake up, you're gonna have to hide. You better fucking hide. Because it could be one of us next. And I won't let you do that.
When will all this be over that I can just grab a stranger in the street and hug them? A big hug. A strong one. The kind of hug that changes your life. The one I got on my way to work. I had just stepped off the Lewis. Had my earphones on and I was lost in my own thoughts. I see this bunch of lunatics outside Stephen's Green. Big happy smiles. All singing and waving signs, and some of them were dancing. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. She was on top of me before I even saw the sign. Free hugs. This stranger. Big lady. I don't mean, big physically, I mean big spiritually. You're lucky if you know the kind. All I could see was her hair. All I could smell was her. All I could feel was... All I could feel was... warm. She squeezed me. She squeezed me. That morning, I had been deciding what the best way to kill myself was. She squeezed that thought right out of my head. So yeah. Nice hugs.
Am I good to go now? Well, it was a Thursday when I found out. Well, I knew before that, but I suppose I found out for definite that morning. Anyway, it was a surreal moment. How many tests have we taken in our teenage years and they're never positive? Never. But this one was. And I rang a crisis helpline, and I felt so stupid because it wasn't a crisis at all. I'm an adult, for God's sake, with a job and a house and a recipe for paella. And then the woman asked if I was going to continue with the pregnancy, and I heard myself saying yes, and I laughed because I hadn't realised I was going to say that, And then I drove to a Montessori after work, and how creepy is that? But I just sat in the car thinking what a beautiful place this would be to grow up, and what colour I might paint the baby's room, and what flavour ice cream would be their favourite, and I'm sorry. Yeah. I just hadn't realised it was so common, What do they say? 1 in 3 pregnancies don't make it past the first trimester. Yes, definitely. I mean, I would like children someday.
I think I might be gay now. Okay, not gay. You know, I went home with a guy a couple nights ago and that was fine. You know, that felt fine. You know, I enjoyed doing sex on him. With him. I mean, I was on him at one point, but then my legs started to cramp and he went to get some water. But you know, that's what I'm used to. You know, a he with a she. I'm comfortable there. I never thought I liked girls before. But now, I sort of met someone. A girl in a bar. And it's like, well, how do you make girls like you as a girl? How do you say things that make them like you? All I have are shitty pickup lines that, you know, guys have tried on me, and I know those don't work, but I feel like they're my template. I'm not used to being the one that has to make someone like them. Men pursued me. You know, I knew my role in that scenario. I don't know my role in this scenario. And, you know, I don't always like getting hit on in a bar. And then, you know, she was... and then I would have been hitting on her in a bar, and she works there, and you're not supposed to hit on people when they work. That's just rude. So I just think she's really pretty, and I'm gonna repress this.
He said it was always there, lurking underneath, deep inside him, in the unconscious. I don't think he was consciously aware of it until it was strong enough to make him do it. You know, they say our minds are like 95% unconscious. And that's where the miraculous wisdom really lies. Do you believe that? I mean, haven't we all felt a little worthless at some point in our lives? And there's no one to blame. I can't be angry with anyone but myself. If I'd known he was seriously, you know, maybe I could have. I really didn't think. Worthless.
I'll tell you. At Dushira, you couldn't stand to be in that room. You couldn't stand to be around all of us. It reminded you. And for whatever reason, that reminder hurt. I don't care, it's not my business to know, but I do have one question. Don't you think you need people around you sometimes? You run. That's your default. If something risks touching you, you run. And that's okay. Hey. That's okay. It's okay to run. It's okay to do whatever you need to do. And some people run. Some people fight. And some people become unbearable assholes. And that's okay too. God knows, I've known a lot of them. You cope the way you cope. You carry yourself the way you need to, but when the time comes to take a step back and find your way out of the misery, that's when the hard work starts. And it's okay. I'm not going to ask you any questions. I'm just going to sit here with you. What was the last movie you saw?
What scares you? Not the shit that goes bump in the night. What's your greatest fear? That's what they're gonna ask you. And if I was a generous person, I'd tell you not to answer that. I'd tell you that as soon as you tell someone that, you tell them your deepest, most secret hope. And then they own you. They do, they own you from the inside out. They know what scares you so much, shrivels your heart into a withered, useless chunk of flesh. Do you know how much pain is in hope? How useless it is. It's like drinking gallons of salt water and hoping to quench your thirst. What's my greatest fear? No, I don't fear anymore. I used to be afraid of the dark. I told them that. It's too late for me. I hope you never tell them. They're coming for you.
Listen, if we were supposed to stay in our comfort zones, we'd have all stayed in the womb. And since we're having this conversation on dry land, I think it's safe to say that that's just not the way of the world. Whether we do it ourselves or someone gives us a nudge, eventually we'll have to push through. And it'll be new and weird and loud and frightening, and then Eventually, it'll just be. You'll be part of this new way of being, as if it's always been there. In fact, you might not even remember how it could have ever been before. But you have to remember, because the day's going to come around that this place, it's going to feel comfortable. And all you need to know is that when that time comes around, it's always better to push.
How did the poor wee Scottish girl with shitty parents end up meeting Grand Old Master Hodson, Well, Robert was a kind man, selfish in many aspects, stubborn, aye, but kind. So when he heard his maid had gone and got herself pregnant, he didn't fire her. He told her to bring the kids to work. Nanny was there anyway, looking after Anthony, so what was an extra mouth to feed, eh? So, when she left me behind. And Robert took me in. It's not that... Ugh. She did come back and visit me and that, but... Well, Robert was the only parental figure I had from then on. Anthony, he hated me. He was away at boarding school most of the time, but when he came home, he made sure I knew my place. I was a help, after all. Robert chastised him for it, but that made him hate me even more. Then he met your mother. That had you. That's when the fear set in. See, Robert wasn't getting any younger, and you were the heiress to the Hodson family fortune. What if I stole a bit of that? So when they read out the will, well, you know how that ended. Funny thing is, I don't give a shit. I'm much like you. I know you don't give a shit about the money. I just want the family I grew up with, but Tony, he can't. I don't know. It's the grand matter never to be resolved, eh?
The counsellor's a small, gaunt, white-skinned woman. Her clothes are various shades of brown. Earth brown, chocolate brown, brown bread brown, tree brown, overwashed brown, mud brown, bleach brown, worn out brown, shit brown. She has short, cropped hair. Brown. Every now and then she runs her fingers through it. She wears no makeup. She mirrors her body language.
I've tested her and she does it every time. I move a hand, lay it across my throat. She does the same. I cross my leg, dangle my foot, she copies. She's watching. Taking mental notes that she'll write up later and add to my file. But I need her to say I'm getting better. Improving. On the mend. Otherwise I'll never get out here. So I play along. I smile. I wear lip gloss and eyeliner and bright, happy clothes. She says, "You look well today. You've good energy." I smile. Nod. But I'm exhausted. I entertain her. With stories of the girls from school, the bold girls, how I admire them. You know, I could never be so cheeky. "Tell me," she says. Do I oblige?
Am I okay to start now? Okay. It was Thursday when I found out. Well, I knew before that, but I suppose I found out for definite that morning. Anyway, it was a surreal moment. I mean, how many tests have you all taken in a young teenage and they're never positive? Never! Except this one was. I ran the crisis upline and I felt stupid. It wasn't a crisis at all. I'm an adult, for God's sake, with a house, a job, a recipe for paella. She asked me if I was going to continue with this pregnancy. And I heard myself saying yes. And then I laughed. Because I hadn't realized I was going to say that, you know. I drove to Montessori school after work. How creepy is that? I just sat there in the car thinking about what a lovely place this will be to grow up. And I hadn't realized that it was so common. What do they say? 1 in 3 pregnancies do not pass the first trimester. Yes, definitely. I do want children one day.
People write love songs about girls like you. Usually not very successfully, but still. I mean, the songs are okay. Sometimes more than okay, sometimes great. But they never quite capture it, do they? Whatever it is. The glance from the corner of your eye. The way the hair hangs over your face. The way you laugh. The way you make me laugh. How I want to kiss that spot at the base of your neck. How I want your tongue to touch mine. How I just want to be beside you. There was wine, and there was song. And then suddenly it was morning, and the sun had never shone as brightly for weeks. And your body was white and warm and called me in. No, they never quite capture it, do they? I suppose if they did, they'd have no need to write any more love songs.
Look, I've told you already, so many times. Fine. We were in the nightclub, and that's when he started harassing Jim. Right? He kept coming over, putting his arms around her, putting his arms around her waist, and I told him, I asked him to stop, okay, just to leave her alone. Now, this is very important because this justifies, explains what happened outside. Yeah, so we decided to leave. We collected our coats and we went outside. We didn't put them on us because it was a warm night. And he started following us. He was following me, he was following Gemma. And I spoke to him again. Yes, I know you have that on CCTV. And that's what I'm doing there. I'm speaking to him, you know, but he just starts again. And he raised his fist. You know, he's going to hit me. He's going to hit Gemma, and I'm afraid. I have to act fast. It was one punch. I threw it. I wasn't even thinking about it. But look at the size of him. Look, like, he should... I have never, ever hit anyone in my entire life. His head... hits the concrete. My stomach just started churning. I was feeling sick. I just wanted to get out of there. So I took Gemma with me. No. She didn't come with me. She stayed. Look, it was one punch. It was just self-defense. That's all it was. One punch.
It started in Italy, when I was on holiday with my pregnant wife Aileen and my parents. It was a typical holiday, I guess. Sightseeing, laying by the pool, a few cocktails at night. Nothing out of the ordinary. Then, on the third day in, if I remember correctly, we were at this lovely restaurant just outside of Morra Valley. We were sitting outside and I was enjoying a delicious Fiorentina steak with a glass of red wine in the sun. It was good. Spirits were high. Suddenly, my father screamed at me and told me to watch out. I dropped my knife and fork in panic and said, "What?" And before I knew it, this little kid, no older than 8, had touched me on the shoulder and said I was it. Everything then just went into kind of slow motion. I remember turning around and seeing this little kid running back to his laughing friends. And when I turned back round again, my father pushed the table at me and told me to get back. I really didn't understand what was happening at the time. And then my wife started crying as my mother consoled her. Well, I stood up, and again my father shouted at me to get back. By now, everyone in the restaurant had started to move away from me. My father was guiding my wife and my mother around me. He told me he was sorry before getting into a taxi and driving away. That was 25 years ago, this month. I haven't touched a single person since. I just couldn't do that to another family. I still communicate with my son through Zoom. He's doing well, and he's studying science. He said he will find a way to cure me. To other kids, don't play games with people's lives.
Are you recording this? Okay, yeah, of course, obviously. So, I'd rather just tell you everything I saw than respond to all the questions you have. I mean, obviously I'll answer any questions you have, but like at the end, because I know me and I'm thorough with stories. I'll for sure cover most of what you want to know without you having to ask me. I'm certain of it. I practically have a photographic memory. Anytime I was stuck in an exam, I'd just close my eyes and visualize the page. I'd start by thinking, where on the page was it? Bottom right. Okay. There was a yellow square there, wasn't there? Yes. Now what was in the yellow square? Focus, focus. And boom! Caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. I got an A in that exam. My teacher thought I'd fail. My business teacher, he was hell-bent on me doing pass, but I refused. I've always been strong-willed like that. He thought I was bananas, and then when I got the A in the leaving, he was disgusted, but in like a, I always knew you had it in you kind of way. Or maybe he was proud and I'm being mean. Actually, he said I think I owe you an apology. The next time he saw me, gosh, I can't believe I forgot that. I can see him so clearly now that I think of it, and he really meant it too. It was a windy day and he was far younger than I'd remembered. Lovely curly hair. Sorry, wait, yes, no, what was the question?
What scares you? I'm not that shit that goes bump in the night. What's your greatest fear? Well, that's what they're going to ask you. If I was a generous person, I'd tell you not to answer that. I'd tell you that as soon as you tell someone that, you tell them your deepest, most secret. Hope. And then they own you. They do, from the inside out. They know what it is that scares you so much, it shrivels your heart into a useless, withered chunk of flesh. Do you know how full of pain hope is? How useless it is? It's like drinking gallons of salt water and expecting your thirst to disappear. What's my greatest fear? No, I don't fear anymore. I was afraid of the dark. I already told them. It's too late for me. I hoped. I hope you never tell them. They're coming. For you.
He's at it again. He thinks I don't know what he's up to, but I know. It used to be just on a Monday that I'd catch Dave sneaking out. Where are you going at 7:30 at night? Start sweating buckets. His eyes go like overworked washing machines, searching for an excuse from his go-to cue cards of deception and betrayal. Mr. Murphy wants me to go to the shops for him. I just walked away. Screw him. In all these years of marriage, I never thought he'd hurt me like this. I just collapsed into the couch and looked around at the house that's crumbling from his neglect. Morgan is dead fucking years. I didn't mean to curse. It's not like me to curse. Look what he drove me to. I apologised to Jesus on the shelf. Had to bless myself 3 times because of him. I find out some years since that picture of Jesus on the shelf is actually a picture of Iggy Pop that Dave adjusted to make into an holy picture. Such a fool. One night he made me watch Trainspotting and wouldn't stop laughing. So, one night, when he tried to sneak away on a Saturday, I followed. There he was, the so-called love of my life, standing in the garden of Samantha Darcy. Dave! Caught you now, you dirty little liar. It doesn't mean what you think, he pleads. Then what does it mean? There he was, staring in the window, watching Everton play against Liverpool on Sky Sports. That little child. All because I wouldn't pay for the channel. So he was going out to her garden 3 times a week, watching the football. Get into the house now, Dave, I yelled. Wait, it's going to penalties. I'll fucking ring her and tell her to pull the curtains over. No, I wasn't putting up with his petty game anymore. Got to be big and brave. Who rules the house now, Dave?
You know, I blame the schools. I totally and utterly blame the schools. You know, it was the most incompetent, stupidest thing ever to do to a kid. I remember them telling us, just don't do it. Just say no. Say no to what? What are you talking about? We were supposed to have a history class this morning. And who's you want coming in to talk to us? What's she talking about? She's done a load of drugs. Oh, drugs. And what are drugs? They give them out at parties and they're really dangerous. Yeah, I only got the first half of that sentence. They give them out at parties. What are these parties? Where are these parties? There's a lot of parties going on around here. How do I get an invite to these parties? You know? Me and my friends love parties. I was over at Jenny's birthday last week and we were having cake. And you're telling me that we could have had drugs? And here's the list of all the drugs you should say no to. Mushrooms. My ma loves mushrooms with the dinner. You know, I was 12, 13 years of age. And here's this droning, nasal talking, condescending, uncool teacher telling us not to do drugs. And that if we wanted to grow up to be just like him, that we should not do them. Of course it's going to make us want to do them even more. Why in the world did they get the most uncoolest teacher to tell us that drugs were uncool? You know what? They should have said, just say yes. Then guess what? None of us would have wanted to do them. Pricks. Anyway, I got a party to keep going.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sharing in this inaugural performance of the Fireside Monologue Challenge. At a time when we cannot be in packed auditoriums, at least we can still together be moved as we have been so beautifully tonight. The talent displayed shows what we have to offer. New talent, known talent, and talent that, like the first flickering of embers, is mere moments away from truly catching fire. Congratulations and thank you to all creatives involved in tonight's production. Finally, to you, our wonderful audience, thank you for being here. We wish you health, happiness and warmth. Warmth of friendship, love, safety and kindness. From our hearth to yours. Until next time, Slán leat.